A couple other cool features that I think will give you some great ideas for your home office. Coming up. Now, after shooting a lot of scenes in vlog mode, I'm actually going to be getting behind the camera now. And so a quick tip is you can just flip your shotgun mic, so that'll keep the audio obviously going the right direction and clean and crispy. And then I also like to actually use the Joby like this, where I tighten it down and I get an added point of contact. So now the camera can actually be a very steady shot if I want to walk people through the home office, give kind of a tour. I can zoom in. And the one other thing I'm going to do here is switch the focus mode from face focus to zone focus. So now I can just tap on exactly what I want to be in focus, and it's not going to be hunting for faces and potentially having focus issues. But over here, that's also an IKEA bookshelf. And so you can see, I think that lifelong leaders are lifelong learners. I read a lot of books. I love to always be leveling up and working on myself. All right, so let's talk about a quick tip to help you organize your footage when you're creating YouTube videos. So I've been shooting this home office tour. I shot it in here, in the loft, in the other office. I shot behind the camera, in front of the camera. But what I'm considering all of that is a term to remember. It's called A-roll. In editing, it's going to be the base layer of video footage, and the A-roll is typically the person on camera. It's where my audio is, where the main kind of narration is, etc. And then you've probably heard the term B-roll. The reason it's called B-roll is then it's any extra clips that we would layer on top of the A-roll. So maybe while I'm sitting at a chair describing something, I can lay over a clip of the thing I'm describing. And so for the next part of the shoot, now that I've basically finished shooting the A-roll, I actually want to switch lenses. And so the reason I mentioned all the gear at the beginning was so that we can use a different lens, and that is the Pancake 22mm f2. Now there's a couple reasons to do this, but one of the main reasons is the aperture. And what I mean is that f2. This guy is f4. This one is f2. That is a big difference. What a faster aperture, and faster is the lower number, what an f2 aperture will do for you is allow the image to be better in lower light. It basically is a wider aperture. It lets more light into the camera. And so in these darker scenes, like when I'm filming over here on f4, and remember our auto ISO settings, there's actually not a ton of light in these corners. This lens will make that look beautiful and be able to do better in lower light situations. This lens, not as much. And then the other thing that f2 is going to do for us is it's going to give us a shallow depth of field and a blurry background. And so actually, before I finish out this video shooting some B-roll, what I'm going to do is put the camera on this tripod, and that's what I'm going to use this for. I'm going to use this tripod to get some smooth panning shots of the room. Again, this is a room tour, kind of home office tour. And so what I can do on here is this K&F tripod has nice smooth panning. I'm going to get some smooth panning shots, and I'm going to get a shot where I mount the camera on here, I'm much further away, and then that's what we're going to use this Boya mic for. This mic is around $20. It's a lavalier like the mic that we're recording this Think Media video on. And so that way, if I get further away, I can get that blurry background, I can get the good audio, because if I'm too far away from my shotgun mic, the audio is not going to be as good. So thanks for coming along with me for a quick tour through the Think Media offices. If you want to see any of the various decor, now, could you skip past these other lenses and even this mic and still finish out this video? Of course, but I just kind of wanted to give you the complete kit that I would use so that I feel ready to create all the content necessary to tell a great story on YouTube. And so I just finished up shooting all of the B-roll clips that I wanted to shoot. Of course, I shot all the A-roll. And so that pretty much covers it. We have the gear, right? The settings. We went and shot all of our clips. But there's one thing we need to do before we get to editing, and that is create the thumbnail. One of the biggest things people miss on YouTube is being like, oh shoot, I'm just gonna pull a clip out of the video for the thumbnail. I recommend actually shooting specific thumbnail photography, and then I've got some tips in Photoshop for editing your thumbnail. So that's part 2 of this video. If you wanna watch that, click or tap the YouTube card, or we'll link to the entire series in the description below. In part 3, I'm gonna go through how I edit this video, and then in part 4, we'll talk about the best export settings and actually getting it uploaded